All this week, the city of San Antonio, or at least parts of downtown and near downtown, will be part of an Army training exercise. It's something that kind of came to a surprise to a lot of us. There wasn't a lot of lead up to it. We're joined by San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg live now for our KSAT Q&A. Mr. Mayor, when did you find out that this was going to take place, and what's the process for this whole thing? And I know they've done it in Los Angeles before and other communities. Why San Antonio, and what's the process?
Yeah, and they've done it here in San Antonio in the past as well. I learned about it over the weekend, and of course, I've had my conversations internally about making us aware of that much sooner, and we'll address those internally. But the importance of these exercises, obviously, San Antonio is one of the major areas for our national defense, given our military presence and the bases that are here, and also the great military civilian cooperation that happens. This is what national defense looks like. They do special operations trainings to make sure that they're prepared for scenarios that happen abroad, and they do those periodically, and they have done them here in San Antonio. What we wanted to make sure, though, is that notifications are made timely to anyone who might encounter them or see them, so that they're aware of what's going on. We also want to do that in a way that doesn't create an unnecessary spectacle, because as we've seen in the past, some of these special operation trainings bring out conspiracy theorists, and we want to avoid all that. This is part of the national defense. This is part of normal military training for scenarios that they may encounter, to make sure that we have a military that is well prepared and well resourced.
Did you have to sign off on this? Did the city council have to approve this? I mean, what's the process of going through before this happens?
No, these are exercises that really are done in coordination with our law enforcement, with SAPD. So that didn't come to my desk. It's something that's done really in coordination with our law enforcement, and has been in the past. But again, importantly, we want to make sure that notifications are made to those in the community that might see them, might encounter them, so that they're aware of what's going on, without also making an unnecessary spectacle out of it.
And we should mention, for people who haven't already experienced this or may not be familiar with it, we're talking about the sound of explosions, low-flying helicopters, gunfire over the next few nights throughout the week near the downtown area.
Yeah, and so periodically we do these sorts of things in our own law enforcement, train on scenarios. A lot of this goes unnoticed, if not for some of the aircraft that were taking place. A lot of them are happening indoors, et cetera. But for those folks who want to be alerted by SAPD on training exercises that may occur, they can text SAPD to 39987. That's, again, text SAPD to 39987. Importantly to note, while there was some obviously, folks are aware of what's going on. We didn't get any 311 or 911 calls about the activities last night, so it does seem like the folks that are in the immediate area are starting to become aware of what's going on. And again, this shouldn't last too long. I believe they're scheduled to do training through the week.
Yeah, through Friday is my understanding. So talk about the trip that you made to a local apartment complex today, why you did it.
Yeah.
It's obviously been some tenants who are just not happy with where they live and the management company there.
Sure. Well, if you are running an apartment complex and housing residents in our community as a business, we expect you to take to have certain standards upheld, and it's part of fair housing. It's part of expectations and rights that renters have in our community. And from time to time, we hear about complexes that are not living up to their expectations, and we've heard a number of complaints, and we've been working with months to help tenants in Seven Oaks apartments. We also have been working to help address issues at Wurzbach Manor. So I visited those two to see for myself and talk to residents about what's going on and whether there's been progress made with those management companies. There has been progress made. I will tell you, in some very notable cases, that progress is not substantial or fast enough. And so we have code enforcement going out there frequently to make sure that those management companies, again, are doing what we expect them to, which is to provide safe, quality living environments for the renters who are paying their rents. And there's also assistance available for those folks who are impacted by these properties that are in disrepair, particularly that pose health and safety issues, whether that's an AC that's not working or water that's not on. And so I wanted to make sure that they had that information from us as well. We will continue to provide assistance as we have for several months now for those two particular complexes. But the bigger picture here is that these things happen from time to time, and we act on those complaints. And for anyone who's living in San Antonio who is not getting response from a property manager on repairs to things that need to be fixed, they can call our city, call 311 and get connected to someone who can help with that situation. I've seen these in the past when I was in council, some very despicable places that were being managed, and we had to step in and intervene. Some cases, new management came in to fix the situation. And by and large, we get those remediations done, but sometimes it requires a little pressure, and we're making sure that folks are getting their units repaired.
Mayor, before we go, I want to ask you about some exciting news. The XFL, we haven't had a chance to talk about that here on this segment. San Antonio being a host city, it's exciting. There is also some, cautious optimism because of the city's track record with leagues in the past. So do you feel like there is something different this time?
I think that the XFL, this iteration of the XFL, has the right people assembled. You have some of the most successful business leaders within entertainment and sports leagues in control running this organization, including Dwayne Johnson and others who are associated with the NFL. You also have a very notable due diligence that was done by the XFL to select where they're going to play. And there's no surprise to me that San Antonio is at the top of the list when leagues are looking at where to establish. I think we have a good partnership here. There's going to be a series of games, obviously home games here in the Alamo Dome played starting next spring. We're looking forward to it. They know they can establish some success here. And I like the fact that they're working in coordination with the NFL, and in fact, collaborating on player development, on recruiting, scouting. We have coaches and managers of these teams that are associated with some of the most successful sports and entertainment franchises. So I think they're set up for success in this league, and we hope they have a good long stay here in San Antonio.
I'm eager to see what they say, what the name is going to be, what the mascot is going to be. I'm hoping for the Fighting Myras. That's what I'm hoping for.
I already have a vision for that.
Call them whatever you want. I hope they're successful on and off the field.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate your time.
Oh, the
Great
Fighting Myras. Yeah.
Scary.
There's an idea there.
Trust me. Scary.